Welcome back to the Caribbean Data Science channel. I'm starting to take a look, my first look at the latest COVID-19 data, total deaths data from the CDC, Center for Disease Prevention and Control. This first data set compares deaths to COVID-19 deaths by all sex, male, female, and also by various age groups. Okay, so this data over here is when it was last updated. So it was updated on the 13th, and the date was 1/4. So this was the data date, right? Data as of 1/13. Okay. Okay. So so far I've also done. I'm just renaming. Now this doesn't make any difference over here really. Why does it say 1/4? So does that mean that this data is good up through 1/4, but is reported on over here? Let's do this. Let's come back down here. Let's change just the dashes because R prefers dashes to now. See, here's the thing. If this is our numbers right here, okay? So the question then becomes, uh, okay, so what percentage of total deaths, why is there so few numbers down here, okay? 113, okay. Okay, so this is the date for the week. Okay, there. All right. All righty here. So here you can see our basic data here, and this is the date for this. So what can we do here? So we would have to plot it by all sex. What else we do? What if we took this and all we did, we said we're only interested in all sex. We're only interested in all sex and all ages, okay? Standard filter, age. Let's try sex, all sex, and age, all ages. So this is the summary data here, okay? All right, so there we go. So we now have the data we need to do our initial report. So we'll come over here like so. We're going to copy all this. Okay. So now we don't really need these because this is simply because we don't care about that basically. Okay. So now the question becomes, this. The question is, what percentage of total deaths It's COVID-19. C2, all right? So let's run this down there now. Okay, let's convert this to a number and convert it to a percent. So the question is this: what percentage of the total deaths is COVID-19? Well, according to this plot, currently COVID-19 is account for 10% of the deaths. At its highest was back over here when it was over 20% of the deaths. Okay? Now, of course, the eternal question is, what does the CDC mean by total deaths? Okay, so that's one set of numbers we can look at here. Okay, we're not really concerned with the age at this point, but we could come back over here, take age, and say we want ages all sex greater than or equal to 75 to 84. Okay, so now we got something a little different here. Okay, so now let's take all these over here then. And what we want to know is, again, we don't need sex. Delete column. So what we want to know is which percent, which we know which, of course, we know which age group is. Okay, that's not really the issue here. You know what? So what percentage of total? What the question was, we wanted to see the total by age group, see what the percentage, the total by age group is here. Let's come back over here for a moment. I suppose the question we want to answer is, has the percentage of deaths for people 85, say 65 and older, declined? All right. Let's try plotting this by age group. Okay, so let's take a look at the 75 to 85. We can take a look here at the 85 and older age group. So here's our question. We know that the 85 and older is still the hardest hit, but as the percentage of total deaths, okay, at the percentage of total deaths, so let's do this. Let's just break this down by age group here. Okay. Okay. So here's the question. Has the percentage of total deaths, okay, declined for the 75 to 84 age group? All right. Okay. Okay. So let's plot this now. I'll plot this by day. Now, this is kind of interesting. Okay. Because again, this is 75 to 85. And you can see that to a certain extent, it mirrors the national totals, which could simply mean that which makes sense because the 75 and above makes up the majority of the number of deaths, COVID-19 deaths. So let's go one more thing over here now. Let's look at the 85 and older. So we're going to do this. And we know that, so let's just insert a row here. Date, age, total deaths, 19. Okay. So what percentage of total deaths does the people 85 and older account for? Well, this is 10%. So if this is correct, then the number of deaths have fallen among people 85 and older. Now the question, of course, is how many deaths were we expecting at any point during the year? Okay, that's the real question. Yes, there's total deaths, but you know, again, these are rough barometers. So once again, 85 and older over 10%. 75 to 84, the death rate's actually a little higher, which is sort of interesting. And the overall picture, you can see it's about 10 to 12%. All right, with a high near 25%. Now the trouble, of course, is, you know, we would expect the deaths to go down as the summer went on. Okay, we could, now we come back over here, and we could say, let's say, we could look at this by sex. We could say, well, all ages, but only females. All right. All right. Okay. So now we got all the females over here. So let's come over here now. Let's do this. Let's just say females, all ages. Okay. Since we know this is all ages and all females, we don't need this. We don't need this because we know what the ages are. We know it's all the ages. Now let's do a percent. So the question is this: Has the as for the total number of deaths, has the deaths among females increased or decreased overall? Okay. I want to point out here: there's absolutely nothing wrong with what I'm doing here, which is, so you can see here, deaths among females is a little lower. It's closer to 10%. Interesting enough. Not a big difference, but there is a difference. Let's go back over here now. Let's just do one for males. Once again, we don't need this. All of them, we don't need this. And we do percent. C2 divided by B2. Well, that makes sense. Division by 0 always returns to 0 then. Let's go to one column here. Now let's take a look at the males' deaths. See if the percentage of deaths from males is and interestingly enough, well, I mean, the males are a little higher, maybe 1 to 2% difference between males and females, and the age groups, and okay. So I think I'm going to stop here with this particular report. I'll be back within a little bit for another CDC related report. Thanks so much for your time. We'll catch you later on.